Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of 3 Geeks Flix. Joining me, as always, is the Muse, Justin Kyle. Say hello, everyone, Justin.
Hello, everyone.
That was quick. And yes, of course, I am the Tech Mitchell Wright. We're back here again. We've got another clutch list for you. I'm in the new studio digs. Not a lot up right now, still moving in. Hope everybody enjoys and likes. It's very orange, and I'm sorry, deal with it. That's all I can tell you. That's all I can tell you.
That's all you need to say, really.
That's right. But let's get right to the point. Here is our clutch list, and as I always do, I look to you, good Muse, and say, Justin, give it to me. What you got?
You know, so a clutch is just something. It's a really dependable movie. You can turn on, you see it on cable, you see it. It's always just a solid film that comes on cable. That's the best way to describe a clutch. Mm-hmm. To start off, my first one is a 1994 release of a movie called True Lies.
Oh man, that's a good movie.
That's my first one. Directed by James Cameron. Mm-hmm. You could argue, I guess you could, and I'll ask you, Mitchell, do you think you could argue that this is groundbreaking just by this epicness of the time? I mean, he rode horses, he rode a jet plane, he
rode everything, man.
He said, "You're fired," and then he fired a missile. It's a great film. I don't know if I would give it groundbreaking, but man, this is bordering on Warm Blanket as well. Mm-hmm. For me particularly. But what a classic! It's one of those you got to turn your brain off a little bit, right? But it's just so enjoyable. I mean, this was Schwarzenegger in his prime. This is right after T2, which is arguably the best Schwarzenegger film of all time. Also directed by Cameron, yes. And what a great film. Jamie Lee Curtis. Classic, iconic scene that she was in, that one scene.
Indeed.
It's iconic.
It's iconic.
It is iconic. What a great film.
Good film. What was the number you gave it?
I don't know. I think I'll give it a 9. I don't want to give it a 10 because I don't see it changing filmmaking, but man, what a solid one. I'll give it a 9. It was a
9. It was definitely a 9. I can agree. Okay, my first film is a 1993. It's a cult romance comedy film, believe it or not. It stars... Well, actually, it was directed by Thomas Schlam, and it stars Mike Myers, Nancy Travis, Amanda Plummer, and then Brenda Fricker. And a lot of these people are going to be like, who? Phil Hartman? Who doesn't remember the late, great Phil Hartman?
Right.
Charles Gordon... And it is the movie So I Married an Axe Murderer. This is definitely a cult following film. You don't see it often on cable, but when it's on, I love to watch it, have it in the background. It's kind of nice to go back in the day to see Mike Myers more so, not so wacky, but kind of playing almost a straight man comedy. It's really not something you think you'd see him in, but the movie was fun, had a little twist, a little bit of whodunit. Decent little romance film, classic 90s. Right. And I think that's a lot of why it has a cult following. It's not an 8. It's a 7. It's not just an absolutely groundbreaking great film, but it's a good fun comedy from Myers, especially in his early years before he got a little too grandiose and out of the ordinary.
Right.
So, yep, if you haven't seen it, check it out. So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Right. Good flick. I agree with the rating. Good choice. My second film is the 1997 film directed by a Gus Van Sant called Good Will Hunting.
Ah, good show.
It's a great film, man. This is probably in one of my top 10. Every time I watch this, at the end, I'm like, this has to be in my top 10 favorite films of all time. It has a ridiculously high critical rating, well deserved in my opinion. I think it's like a 97% or something on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, nice. It is what it is. But but very, very original. The history behind the making of the film is also classic. Matt Damon came up with the concept. Him and Affleck, wrote this over a period of years. I think they were 25 or something when they won the Oscar for screenplay that they won. What a great film. What a great premise. A janitor who was born and raised in Philly. Forget about it. Yeah, I mean, he's actually a genius, and he goes around when he cleans, solving equations that, the students at MIT couldn't solve. And he, it's such an interesting character study, and it's not. I wouldn't say it's a psychological thriller, but it has a lot of psychological aspects in it for sure.
Yeah, it does.
I guess you would categorize it as straight up drama, but man, it's a feel-good movie at some parts. It's a drama. It's a serious movie. It's just a great film all the way around.
Agreed. What's your number?
Well, considering that it's, the acting is superb in it. The late Robin Williams won the Oscar for it. Well deserved.
Yep.
A lot of, the direction was awesome. The music was awesome. The story. I'm going to have to give it, this could be a personal thing, but I'm giving it a 9.5.
Okay. I would agree. Not quite 10, but 9.5. Great film all around. I'd agree.
Right.
Yes, sir. Very nice. My next film is a 1992 Andrew Davis film starring Steven Seagal, Gary Busey, Tommy Lee Jones, and Erika Eleniak in Under Siege. Now, this is the antithesis of just a clutch movie turn on and enjoy.
What a great
nothing like sitting back, watching Stephen Gall crack his dry humor jokes, kicking ass, man. It doesn't get much better. And then, of course, the wild man himself, Gary Busey, Tommy Lee Jones. Tommy Lee Jones, the chameleon. He can play both sides of the track, good and bad. This was one of his better villain roles, if you ask me. Let's not really talk about his portrayal of Two-Face. And Erika Eleniak, I have one word for you: yummy. And that's all I have to say about that. The movie is an 8. It was the better of all the Under Sieges, which there was really only 2, but we're going to say really there was just 1.
So. Right. Kind of like Boondock Saints. I haven't seen the second one.
And see, I have a friend that likes the second one and knows there's a Kickstarter for the third of that, but that's another conversation.
What a great choice. What a great choice.
Thank you, sir.
That's better than any definition of clutch I could ever think of. Great choice. Okay, my third film is the, I'll have to get with your opinion about this, but this film changed a lot of things moving forward, not to mention film, but things outside of film, particularly television. It is a groundbreaking 1998 film directed by Peter Weir called The Truman Show.
Ah, that is a great show.
It's a great film, man. It changed. Think about what this was what the start of a lot of reality television. They took a lot of inspiration from this movie. Not to mention, after this movie, there was a official psychiatric disorder called the Truman Effect, in which people really believed, this was in the DSM-4, I believe, in college, that they were on a hidden reality show. Excluding the effects it had on popular culture at that time, the cast was amazing. I mean, Jim Carrey knocked it out of the park.
Oh, yeah.
Ed Harris as the creator. Laura Linney as his wife. What a great cast. The acting, the music, the cinematography was very warm. I mean, they approached the filmmaking as they wanted you to feel while watching them. Everyone liked watching Truman just because he was so warm-hearted and, he was just warm. So they approached the filmmaking like that. I mean, there were some scenes when it was epic, yet I guess in a controlled environment, but still. I don't know. This one's tough. I love this film. I absolutely love this film. Also a great character study. What would you rate this film, if you don't mind me asking?
I would say it's easily, at the very least, it's easily a 9.5.
Really?
Yes, that is a great film. It gave a comedic feel, but a serious look onto something that nobody had ever looked at before. It was very different. It was very game-changing. So Absolutely, easily just a 9.5 at the least.
Okay.
You could argue 10 status.
Right.
Because it was very different. It was off the cuff. It was something new. And anytime you can, anytime you can do something like that and pull it off, and especially, Jim Carrey playing a fairly different role than what everybody had cast him in, and nailed it.
Right.
And then the great Ed Harris. Come on.
Ed Harris was fantastic in this movie,
mm-hmm.
but as was Carrey. But this was really the start of the very first peak we saw at Carrey's seriousness and his mm-hmm. actual talent.
Yep.
I mean, the same with Williams. I mean, who's going to deny that Carrey and Williams aren't not only comedic geniuses but fantastic actors?
Absolutely.
All the way around.
Absolutely. Well done. What would you rate it?
God, I don't know, man. This is tough for me. I'll give it a 9.5. I'll agree with yours.
Absolutely.
I'll agree with yours. Yeah.
Absolutely. Very nice. To go and stray definitely completely from the style of The Truman Show, mine is a 2010 film by Philip Noyce. It has Liev Schreiber, Chitwood Elijah Ford, Corey Stoll, who was the villain in Ant-Man and is the lead in the FX series Strain, mm-hmm. but it starred Angelina Jolie in Salt. Not a 10, not a 9, not even possibly an 8, more of a 7.5, maybe 7.75 if you want to get really technical. Good action, kind of espionage film. I love the whole backstory that she kind of had, and it almost felt like it almost somewhat mirrored an idea that they took maybe from Black Widow, being a female Russian child, grew up, espionage, sleeper cell, in the American government. Liev Schreiber ends up being one of her classmates. Oh, I lost my light there for a second. Sorry, folks. And then this is really where Chitwood Elijah Ford and Corey Stoll kind of started getting more roles and coming into the mainstream. But just great action in this film. Mm-hmm. Not a whole lot of whodunit and really make you think, but enough to make it interesting. Rewatchability is okay, and that's why it's only like a 7.5 or 7.75. But other than that, an all-around solid film, a clutch film to have on when nothing else is on in the background, something to watch when nothing else is playing. So another great, just decent clutch to kill some time with.
So that's a great definition of a clutch. In other words, it's something that could possibly come on cable, and you can imagine, doing laundry while it's on and enjoying both of your tasks while you're doing it. So that's a textbook clutch. Very, very good. Everything you said was spot on about it. The action was solid. Mm-hmm. The first time I watched it, when I saw the trailer, it was kind of like, honestly, when I saw the trailer, I was kind of rolling my eyes, like, okay, whatever.
That's what I did
too. Then when I watched it, I was actually kind of intrigued when it was a little psychological, a little whodunit, mm-hmm. Is she or isn't she type thing. I think that went over better than I thought it would.
Mm-hmm.
Angelina Jolie, Liev Schreiber is one of my favorite actors. I think he's highly underrated. Chitwood, Elijah Ford, whatever his last name is.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's one of the best actors working today, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
It's a solid clutch, textbook clutch.
Absolutely.
Very, very nice.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. My fourth film is it is the classic film. I want to say it's 1994, directed by one of my favorite directors. I've talked about him at length before. This
mm-hmm.
is his signature go-to film, Mr. Michael Mann, called Heat.
Ah, yes, sir.
Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. This film, in its own way, is considered groundbreaking, and not necessarily in an obvious way. This is one of the go-tos. If you listen to the great directors of working today, like the Nolans and the other ones,
mm-hmm.
they reference this film particularly as having an influence. So in other words, one of the examples is Christopher Nolan made the cast of The Dark Knight watch this film before filming, saying this is the direction we're going to go. Very, very gritty, yet realistic, yet bordering on heightened reality a little bit.
Yeah.
It walks that fine line between gritty and a little bit of heightened reality. So that's a very difficult thing to do as a director, I feel. I mean, I want to say this is the first time that De Niro and Pacino worked together in a scene. They had been in Godfather 2, but separately. And boy, that diner scene is iconic if you watch it. So, that end fight scene, you got Kilmer in there when he's sporting that ponytail. Even Ben Affleck, you mentioned this for The Town. I mean, that you can see the influences of this film scattered throughout today's action movies.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if that in itself merits a 10, but this is definitely pushing a 9. Definitely.
Oh yeah, and I'd say it's easily 9.5, if not 10. You've got actors that are gods among kings in this. So.
Right.
Awesome performances, great movie, gritty.
Great soundtrack.
Absolutely.
The soundtrack.
Absolutely, man. So
think about what it's done. That's the thing. I'm conflicted. So what would you rate it again?
I would definitely say it's a 10. I wouldn't even go as low as a 9.5. Heat is a 10. It is a fantastic film. It has the cast. It has the story. It has fantastic performances. And for one, it's got De Niro and Pacino head to head, man. Easy. Enough said.
So you literally just did a better job describing it than I did.
I drop the mic and walk out of the room, bud. That's the antithesis of the moment when you tell them all that. You drop the mic, walk out of the room, turn around and say, "F*** you, Twilight," and then you're out.
Okay, so you could disagree with this. I don't think that's going to be my mic drop. I think my last one will.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay. All right. I
almost feel like telling you great choice. You described it so much. Great choice. That's a great film.
That's a great film to you, sir. I have a film also that Al Pacino was in on my next one. It's a 2003 film. It's a Roger Donaldson film. It's also got Colin Farrell and Bridget Moynihan in The Recruit.
That's a classic.
That is a clutch.
Choice.
That's a clutch. This movie is not 10 quality by any means. No, it's not 10 quality. No, it's not even 9 quality. It's a solid 8 quality. Somewhere in maybe in the 7 to 8 genre gyrosphere. And if you really liked it, you could almost say 8.5. But I'm gonna be conservative on this one and say about an 8. It was a great whodunit. It was another thing that we can look at Al Pacino, and you really didn't know which side of the tracks he was playing the whole time, whether Colin Farrell was in or out, Bridget Moynihan, whether she was playing the mole or not, what was real, what wasn't. It had that going on for it very well. Some of the other acting, like Bridget's acting wasn't just awesome. It was okay. Farrell did great. This was definitely during the high and hot times for Colin Farrell, especially in action films. Al Pacino will always be timeless and played a great mentor and double role in this. But there were some performances that were a little lacking. It wasn't really hard to figure it out. Really, after the fact, I think they could have played it off a little better, could have left you in the dark a little more, maybe. I don't know. I felt like there was something that was missing in it, so that's why I say it's at the most an 8. They could have come with a little something more. Maybe a little something fresh, a little something hot, something to keep us in suspense. Maybe I wanted a little bit more of that. I don't know. But we'll see if anybody ever tries to redo any of this or reboot the movie or anything like that. So, The Recruit.
So, can I ask, what year did that come out again?
2003.
Okay, so I think I was in 9th grade, which means I was not probably of the sober mind when I watched it. So at the time, I remember thinking that movie was awesome. And I wouldn't say it's groundbreaking even then, but I would give it even today for what it was, and again, I was younger, so my mind wasn't as developed as today, obviously. But, dude, from what I remember, I mean, not only is it solid, I was going to give it about an 8.75, really. I mean...
And, you know, some of this is subjective.
You're right. It is. It's a great film, man. That's a great choice. That's a solid clutch. That's a textbook clutch as well.
And that's really all I'm going for on this list is just textbook clutches, folks.
Right.
All right. To you, sir. Your last one.
Well, you know, I had to have one that I felt like you don't have to say a lot about. Otherwise, that's ammo, right?
Right.
And I did go a little old school. This is a classic film, which they almost always are. And 1982, directed by Toby Hooper.
Okay.
Toby Hooper.
Okay.
And ghost directed by Steven Spielberg. That would be Poltergeist.
They're
groundbreaking special effects. The acting was superb. Mm-hmm. I mean, for all intents and purposes, everyone, you know, it's pretty much almost well known that Spielberg pretty much directed this movie. Untitled. He was a producer. He had a lot of hands-on. I mean, at the time, this movie became an instant classic. This is also could be considered a warm blanket. I still watch this once a year. This is one of my friends' favorite movies of all time.
Wow.
When I've seen it on television, you know, I've always watched it. It's one of those movies where it's hard to turn off. That's another definition of a clutch. Even if you start watching it, if you have to go do something and it comes in like, well, I'll finish it. You know, the special effects for 1982.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
They were great the guy for that time.
Peeling his face off. The clown thing really messed me up. That would explain a lot about my personality.
Yeah.
The demons, even the skull when it comes out of the room. It's a textbook clutch. Anytime it comes on, even though, you know, it's pushing 30 years, I think, going on. It's a clutch film, man, for sure.
Indeed. Very nice, sir. Way to drop the mic. I'm not necessarily trying to drop the mic any on this next one. I'm definitely straying from what most of my list was. It's a clutch of legends for me. This is a movie that I watch day in and day out in college. I can watch it anytime it's on, even if it's edited, even though it's not as good if it's edited. But it's a 1994 film. Hart Boschner was the director, who I'd never really heard of before. But it's got Jeremy Piven, Jon Favreau, David Spade, Chris Young, and the son of the great Gary Busey, Jake Busey, in PCU. Now, if any of you have not seen this is a comedy. This is a straight-up comedy to where Chris Young comes in as a pre-fresh. He's coming just to see what the university is like. And this is Point Chester University, but PCU actually is a play on words to stand for Politically Correct University. Jeremy Piven and Jon Favreau are in kind of, this is like a classic, a new age remake of the 90s of Animal House. They're the party house. You know, they're in trouble. David Spade plays your typical frat boy, the elitist kind of attitude and whatnot. And pretty much this kid is like enjoying his day at Point Chester University, learning about it, and he goes through all these parties, and then there are these feminist groups, and then these other activist groups, and these tree-hugging groups, and all this other stuff, and it's pretty much just a day in the wild adventure of him trying to make it through and alive, and plus, what's not a great film that doesn't end in a party where George Clinton headlines it? So, I mean, come on. And if you don't know who George Clinton is, get off your youngster ass and look it up.
Right.
You got some living to do, kid. A hilarious film. Some of the best one-liners you will ever hear, ever. Do yourself a favor. Sit down, give this thing a spin, and laugh your ass off for a night, just for a little while. I promise you it will become an instant classic to you. It will easily become a clutch in your heart. I can't speak highly enough about it. And Jake Busey in this, the reason I mention him, he plays this stoner that's of this group of stoners, and his lines are absolutely just some of the greatest one-liner funny cameos ever made. So go out there, check it out, PCU.
I've never seen it.
No, and it's an 8 easily. It's an 8 easily. But and see, that's another thing I'm out here for, folks. I'm a little older, a little more seasoned, a little more gray. I don't need your just for men, but I'll give you some just for good time's sakes. Yeah. Some great movies that you need to watch from my age and day. I don't know where I was going on that, but anyway. Check us out on Facebook, 3 Geeks Flix. Give us a like, comment, holler. If you don't do Facebook, we got Twitter. It's at the number 3 Geeks Flix. You can follow, troll, give us a shout. Get involved, folks. You are the third geek. That is the reason why this is called 3 Geeks. We want you to get involved. Let us know what you think. Shout at us. Get involved and talk with us, maybe. You don't have to be so mean. Even though we wouldn't mind a little meanness every now and then. It's kind of dead and quiet. Come on, we want to get to know you. That way we can have you on YouTube. Have you on a Geek Speak. Have you on a Clutch. Have you on anything. We want to get you here on the show and let you shine. And hopefully not run scared because Justin was giving you that same look he's giving me right now because I'm just rambling on and on. So anyway, as I always say, appreciate you all sticking around and stay tuned to the glow of those monitors because we're going to catch you next time. Good night. Yeah, the Twilight thing got you pretty good. You going to smoke?
No, I quit.
Shut your fucking mouth and get outside and smoke.
Nicotine gum.
Oh, Chantix.
See?
Nice. Okay. Hey. So you still gonna go sit outside and talk?
Hang on.
You haven't had any weird dreams on that stuff, have you?
Are you kidding me? I have weird dreams every night.
What? 7 hours away right now. I'm not really scared.
What'd you say?
I said you're 7 hours away right now. I'm not really scared.
You underestimate my power.
I have the high ground.
What'd you do? I started going like this, and then you started choking.
Dinosaur.
That's a big you to me, isn't it?
You lying piece of
Man, I didn't quit. You kidding me? You always say, and like always, I'm gonna Justin give it to me. And tonight, I gave it to you.
It's because I'm a gracious host, you. Help us make YouTube better. We want to know what being a creator on YouTube is like for you, so don't hold back and tell us how you really feel.
Let him have it.
This is gonna be a
I believe in a thing called love.
Made with Hershey's milk chocolate. I'm known as milk chocolate in small circles of one.
Twilight.
I just kept thinking of the one thing that would never make me laugh or smile.
Which was what? Twilight? I really hope one day we have someone that's subscribed that's just like then they leave a comment that says ... yeah ... you Twilight. I would immediately reply to that person and be like, be on our show. Do it now.
You are so on the next show. There you go, folks. There's your avenue.
Give me another one.
Thank you for putting me on the spot. Twilight.
Seriously, you Twilight.
You say that like you're really mad, too.
There's no joke here. You Twilight.
How much of this can I put on and bleep out and still get away with it?
That could be something else. one of these days you're gonna have a blooper reel of just us saying Twilight for like literally 10 minutes. Oh, thanks, Mitchell.
That's why I have you for movies like Water for Elephants.
That's a great film. You, Twilight.
Everybody's gonna be like, how many times are they gonna say it?
What if that became a meme and like people started wearing that on shirts?
I can do anything, Mom. Anything. I got dreams. So you, Twilight.
I think we already talked about this a little bit, except I thought it should be titled "Here's the Thing." In other words, we would say "Here's the thing," and then "Here's the thing with Twilight." Number 1, you, Twilight.
What is my son doing? He's like out there.
Yeah, my porn list. Have you ever seen a movie called Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Oh God! Help me! Oh no!
No, I'm just kidding. It wouldn't be that. It would be the 1994 cult classic Serial Mom. That is a cult classic, man. You gotta admit. And it's a great film. So you, Twilight.